So if you're over 60 and your skin is looking different or changing for all the wrong reasons, and by that I mean poor elasticity, and even skin tone, hyperpigmentation, melasma, and all that type of thing, if you've noticed that you're not happy with your skin and you're wondering why, or you're blaming it on the sun, then keep watching. Of course, if you are younger, you can keep watching as well. However, I would like to share some tips about how our skin, changes, and what might be the causes as we get older. So, hello, I'm Senna, and I am a complementary health therapist, and welcome to this channel. You see, there is a misconception that when we notice dark spots, and even skin tone, and hyperpigmentation, melasma, even premature aging sometimes, there's a misconception that it is caused by the sun and that it's a UV damage is responsible. But then research is now finding out that that may not actually be the case, because we actually do need the sun. Why do we need the sun? We need the sun because the sun helps to manufacture vitamin D. You cannot have vitamin D without the sun, because the vitamin D is important for the balance of and production and control of our melanocytes, that is the cells that produce melanin. And without vitamin D plus the sun plus cholesterol in our skin, we cannot have an even a healthy looking skin. So vitamin D is absolutely crucial, and we need the sun for that. However, manufacturers have now started, because there's this thing about UV damage, sun protection, we need to use sunscreen and this, that, and the other. Manufacturers are starting to put sunscreens in most of their or let me say some manufacturers are putting sunscreen in our daily moisturizers and face creams and stuff. I know one time I did say in one of the videos, I think I was saying that we should use sunscreen. I don't actually use sunscreen, but because it was being touted out there, oh, the sun is responsible for skin cancer, hyperpigmentation, and all that sort of thing. I'm not saying that we should just go out and be reckless and not use sunscreen at all, but I'm just saying that sometimes when we put these sunscreens on our faces, it's actually preventing the sun from doing its work along with vitamin D to help us get healthier skin. So we don't necessarily, this is what research is saying actually, that it is not the sun that is causing the problems, especially as we get older. Because when they compared, let's say, a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old or a younger person to somebody over 60, they found out that the melanin concentration in the older person was much less. And the younger people don't tend to suffer from uneven skin tone, poor elasticity, and hyperpigmentation, melasma. Younger people don't tend to, suffer from these conditions, bringing to the fore or making them do more digging and to discover that that is not actually the case. Like I mentioned, we actually do need vitamin D for melanin production, and also for just the general health of our skin. So why is it that the younger person has a higher amount of melanin or melanocytes compared to the older person? Well, the problem is actually linked to some missing minerals as we get older. Apart from even that, the way our bodies absorb these crucial minerals is actually starts to deplete after the age of 60. So there is some sort of deficiency in especially three key minerals that our bodies need. And that is what I want to just expatiate or just talk about a little bit, so that we know that, it might not be what might be going on, on the surface. What we might be noticing on the surface of our skins may not actually be from an external source. It might be something that is going on the inside. So let's continue. Just 1 minute. So, like I was mentioning earlier on, there are three key elements that, as we get older, become deficient in our systems. And this is responsible, again, as research has discovered, that it is as a result of slower gut motility, in the sense that the way our gut, performs tends to slow down. Also, there are changes in our stomach lining, and also the fact that the stomach acid in our systems also is depleting. So that that is also responsible for the inability of our bodies to break down important elements that we need. So what are these key elements, or what are these key minerals that are extremely crucial to ensure that we have healthy skin, not only for our skin but also general bodily functions? So these are zinc, copper, and magnesium. And the body especially has a harder time digesting zinc, and therefore it is important that we get the right balance, of these minerals, because if we have too much zinc, then there can be a disruption of how the other elements or other nutrients are being broken down. So we cannot have too much zinc, neither do we want to be deficient in zinc. So there has to be a balance, and this is where copper comes in. Copper, and let me just mention that zinc is very, very important, because it helps in the production and regulation of collagen. And without collagen, we know that collagen is responsible for keeping our skin firm, keeping our skin elastic. So that is why when the zinc in our systems is not breaking down or is not being utilized, then of course that is going to show up on our skins as premature aging, wrinkling, and even skin tone. And zinc is also important in the production or the control also of vitamin D and the melanocytes in our skins. What helps to give us an even skin tone, zinc is also responsible. So without the proper balance, or if the zinc is just sitting there doing nothing, then of course it's of no effect. So this is why we now need the copper, because copper is also responsible for breaking down the zinc. So when we have copper in our systems, then we know that there would be a balance of the zinc supply, because copper is there to help to break and utilize the zinc. Then we've got magnesium. Magnesium is important in controlling inflammation, and it also helps to reduce stress, and it also helps to in terms of cellular repair. It helps our cells to repair themselves. So we need these three elements. So most of the time, to just taking supplements, for instance, they might say, okay, yeah, just take vitamin D, for instance, vitamin D in a supplement or stuff. But one other researcher has found out that just taking vitamin D alone, because the IU, the units that are in most of our vitamin D's, according to what research is saying, is that it's not actually enough. The one that I take has a let me see, I think mine is about 1,000 IUs, but this researcher was saying that usually it's about 600. That's what they're saying, that we need 600, but he's saying that no, that we actually need something like upwards of 10,000 IUs a day. Don't quote me, that's what he said. And by the way, a disclaimer as well, these are just suggestions. I'm not touting to be or saying I'm a doctor or whatever. I am a complementary health therapist, but all I am saying are just suggestions. So however, so this is why we even need sun exposure, because if the supplements we are taking are not enough, then we are trying to shield ourselves from the sun, then of course that's the reason why we are going to end up with an even skin tone and all. So we actually need to be taking more, and what I was getting at is that the supplements that we take are okay to some degree, but the body prefers us to get our nutrients from food, and the body tends to metabolize the nutrients that we get from food better than from the supplements that we take. So there has to be some sort of a balance between the supplements that we take, but we need to get our nutrition more from food. So I want to talk about, or I have some food that contain zinc, copper, and magnesium here on my table, and I'll soon turn the camera around so that you can just see what I just have, because I don't actually need to, because I know you already know what they are, but sometimes when you just see it, then it makes more, it sticks in the brain more. So yeah, so this is just what I want to show you in a few minutes when I turn the camera around. So like I said, zinc, copper, and magnesium need to be in the right balance for it to have any effect on the outside, because I make my own creams, and serums and stuff. But when we just want to fix the problem from the outside without looking at the root causes, it actually most of the time doesn't work. So it's always good to address the problem, to have a more holistic view or approach to whatever it is that we are trying to deal with. Just slapping a plaster on a wound is without finding out, or a skin condition without getting into what exactly caused it, is just just be going around in circles. So it's good for us to tackle the problem all round. So yes, so just hold on while I show you some of the things or the food that I have. So here I have some foods that are rich in zinc, copper, and magnesium. So yes, so spinach, I've got some spinach here which is rich in magnesium. I've got lentils, which is also rich in magnesium. Then I've also got here some pumpkin seeds rich in zinc. And then I've got shellfish rich in copper. So we've got magnesium. Sorry. We've got magnesium, lentils, spinach, rich in magnesium. We've got sesame seeds, sesame seeds are really powerful, tiny but powerful, because they're rich in magnesium, iron, zinc, copper, and phosphorus. Sesame seeds are really good. And then we've got some apricots. I've got some apricots here that are also rich in copper. So like I said, shellfish rich in copper, apricots rich in copper, pumpkin seeds rich in zinc, tiny but mighty sesame seeds rich in iron, copper, phosphorus, magnesium, calcium, and the rest. Well, I mean, that's that's what I don't know what other rest, but I'm sure they are. Anyhow, then we've got the spinach that is rich in magnesium, and we've also got some lentils also rich in magnesium. Of course, there are other foods that contain different that contain zinc, copper, and magnesium. And so if maybe you don't fancy shellfish, or you don't fancy apricots or lentils, spinach, you could get copper from oysters, from whole grains, from beans, nuts, potatoes, organ meats, sesame seeds, as I mentioned. And then for zinc, if you don't like pumpkin seeds, you could get them from almonds, cashews, dark chocolate, avocados, oysters, beans, yogurts, you name it. And then for magnesium, oh, and then may I mention also, you can get copper from mangoes as well. And then for magnesium, you could get them from flaxseed, pumpkin, chia, almonds, beans, peanuts. I mean, I know you could always do your own research, but this is just to remind you for us as we get older, to try and incorporate some of these foods into our diet, or eat more of them, and also essentially to ensure that we are getting a balanced mineral distribution. And also, in terms of magnesium, there are different sorts of magnesiums. If one wants to take a supplement, I take these supplements. Magnesium comes in different forms. Some are, different benefits, and also absorption rates. And we've got magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, oxide, magnesium chloride. What I meant by magnesium oxide, magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate. And some of them are more beneficial than others. Some of them have, different absorption rates and stuff. I prefer taking these ones. I find it a bit, I won't say expensive, but it has the tiniest amino acids that help to absorb. It absorbs better in the small intestine. So that's why I like this form. If you want to know about it, you can call me and let me know. I didn't want to show the box because I'm not actually advertising, but all I know is that it's probably made in Sweden or something. Anyhow, so yes, so we need vitamin D, like I mentioned. Just to wrap it all up, we need vitamin D because it helps the production and control of melanin. We need zinc because it's crucial in melanin distribution. We need copper because it helps the absorption of zinc and helps it to, it helps the body to utilize the zinc better. And also magnesium is good for cellular repair, reduces stress, helps us to sleep better, and also it helps to improve or reduce inflammation. So it is important for us to, ensure that we are getting enough of this, because some people go like, okay, maybe if they have some dark spots or uneven patches, then they resort to bleaching and stuff. But these bleaching creams actually help to damage the cells that produce melanin. So at the end of the day, one would even end up being back to square one with the same problem. So this is just what I have to share today. And of course, if you're on any medication and you want to change your diet or incorporate another sort of supplement, of course I know that you would seek your doctor's advice. And also, if you are allergic in terms of the sesame seeds, different nuts, people tend to be allergic. So like anytime I want to incorporate something, I always start with very little amount, before, but I never used to take sesame seeds before. So when I started, I just started with a little bit. Usually the daily recommendation, what they say, I don't know, maybe like 1 to 2 tablespoons, and I do the same with this, with the pumpkin seeds. With the apricots, I think it's 30 grams or so, which is about this quantity for me. So yeah, yeah, so that's it for now, and I hope you have found this video helpful, and I will be back with another video. And in the meantime, bye and take care of yourselves.